Sorry about that, guys. I realized that I didn't post the episode earlier than I normally do. We were going to get Clark to be a part of the Dynamite results, but things had to change, so I'm sorry about that. We'll get Clark on the next episode the soonest we can. I'm sorry about that. And I'm sorry to Clark, but good luck out there. So, see you, Clark. And let's move on to Dynamite results with just good old me. Hey guys, what's good? Time for Dynamite results. AEW was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we saw Darby Allin take on Swerve Strickland first. In this matchup, I think I said Darby Allin would win, and he did. That matchup was insane. A bunch of crazy stuff happened. Then we saw Brian Cage interfere. Aubrey Edwards ejects the embassy. Darby kicks a chair out of Shane's hands. Darby goes for a roll-up known as the Last Supper, and he wins the pinfall that way. Honestly, I saw this matchup going either way. I figured Darby Allin would win, though. That was my prediction, so I did get that correct. It is also to be mentioned that Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Sammy Guevara were watching the matchup amidst the current opportunity for any of the other three pillars to get a shot at MJF for the AEW World Championship. So there is that to think about as well. MJF afterwards came out, and we then go to break. Maxwell, after the break, got on the mic and give Darby credit where it was due, and that the match was good, and then was impressive because his quote-unquote daddy Sting wasn't out. And if anybody would know Allen's great, they had one of the greatest matches in history at Full Gear 2021. And even though Darby, according to MJF, is a little emo schmuck, pound for pound, he's one of the best people he's been in the ring against. Then he had two words to prove that MJF is better than him, and that was headlock takeover. Then Sting showed up, and then said that he wants to know that all the daddy daycare talk is, and it offends him deeply because he's not a daycare kind of guy. He's more of a cheerleader, he says, pulling pom-poms out of his jacket and flicking him at MJF. That part was hilarious. He pulls out more and he's got a fever, and the only cure is more pom-poms. He kept throwing him he kept pulling him out of his jacket and throwing him at Maxwell. And then he promises to stop if MJF stops talking about this Cody daycare stop. And then says he said Cody and the truth hurts. And then he said he'd be real with everybody. Showtime is almost over for Sting, but it's just getting started for Darby Allin. And then Darby said he's coming for the title, and then Maxwell spits in the face of Darby Allin and leaves. So Sting coming out was great. Him basically telling us that he's retiring soon. I mean, yeah, it does suck. And of course we want to see him wrestle. But there does come a time and a place where things must go. And in this case, it does have to be his career. Which, yeah, it is unfortunate. But good luck in the rest of Sting's career, and I hope his retirement goes well for when he does decide to retire. And then we saw Silas Young take on Powerhouse Hobbs for the AEW TNT Championship. This matchup was very sad because basically nothing happened. Powerhouse Hobbs retained the TNT title, which I saw coming. I don't remember there being any feuds, but it still was upsetting how short that matchup was. Wardlow then smashed Powerhouse Hobbs' car. He hopped in a forklift and puts the tines through the passenger window, then before lifting the car up and tipping it over. Back inside, Powerhouse goes to take his anger out on Silas Young, but Wardlow's music hits as he pivots his attention. And he comes charging down, and there's a brawl. And then we saw Switchblade, Jay White, and Juice Robinson on a video package where they talk about being Bullet Club high rollers and that they're just getting started here. And they said, welcome, this is Bullet Club Gold. So there you go, Bullet Club Gold and Bullet Club. And Bullet Club Gold, as of right now, is consisting of Jay White and Juice Robinson. And I've seen many people say that ELP will be next to join them, but also El Phantasmo apparently got kicked out as well, so he could be the next one too. But it's also hard to know which side of Bullet Club is Chris Bay and Ace Austin a part of. So there's all these different things that we don't know yet, but we'll probably find out at some point. I think that Ace Austin and Chris Bay are part of regular Bullet Club. I think ELP and El Phantasmo are going to be part of Bullet Club Gold eventually. I think Bullet Club Gold suits them where they are, just because they're in All Elite Wrestling right now. And AEW is gold. It is black and gold. So Bullet Club is Bullet Club Gold apparent, I believe, will be black and gold. So it suits them well. I think it suits them well. Buddy Matthews then looked to take on the international champion Orange Cassidy. I said here Buddy Matthews would become the new champion, but of course I was wrong. Orange Cassidy retains the international title. I made a risk there, and I do not regret it. But it was a good matchup. And Orange Cassidy will defend his belt against Gabriel Kidd at Philadelphia Collision. So there is that too. We get another weird video package for Luchasaurus and Christian Cage. Christian says some things have changed, but that's really it. After that, Renee Paquette interviewed the Best Friends. Trent Beretta says Orange's hand is fine and that he's defending the title every week on the run of his life. Chuck Taylor made a challenge to Aussie Open to come fight Best Friends on Rampage. Ethan Page was in the ring. He had a mic in hand. Ethan Page and the Firm have had a bit of a rough patch. He says Matt Hardy cracked him over the head with the FTW Championship. Hook beat the living crap out of Stokely Hathaway, and he's still injured. There's the contract situation. He's a mess. Hasn't been able to get to tan or get a haircut, and yet he needs answers. He needs Matt Hardy to tell him why he cracked him over the head with a title and what he put in the contract, and he knows he still works for him, so he needs to come down here now. Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy show up. Hardy then said you had to read the fine print in any contract, and he did manipulate him to make him think he was his best friend, because he's the biggest a-hole he's ever met in his life. That's why he worked him into signing the contract. And that contract said that if Hook beat Ethan Page, Matt Hardy and Private Party are no longer with the Firm. Because it gives him the right to pick his next match, and the stipulation is that if they beat the Firm, they're out. And Ethan Page says if there's more to the Firm than just he and Stokely. Multiple people then come out, beat down Hardy and Cassidy from behind. Body blows for Big Bill. Ego Ethan Page gets up in time to block the T-bone. They beat Hook down. They beat the Co down. And then Jeff Hardy is back to make the save. Chair in hand. Throws that one at Moriarty. Hits the twist of fate. Jeff up top. Swanton bomb. Jeff Hardy's back. Yay. Jeff Hardy's back about a year after the arrest. Great. Is Jeff Hardy gonna be okay though? Because, he got arrested for having another DUI. And he's had a history of not being clean. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next. Because, Jeff Hardy needs to get his act together. Otherwise, he's probably not going to get any more chances after this. And as a Jeff Hardy fan, I hate to say this, but he needs to stay clean. So that way we can get an actual proper Hardy's run. Maybe not for the tag championships, but they do need a proper run. They haven't really had a proper run. in here in AEW. So don't be stupid, Jeff. Okay? Don't be stupid. We have a recap of Bryan Danielson stabbing Hangman Page with the screwdriver. Kenny Omega sends in a video promo thanking the fans and the doctors for being quick. And then Kenny says he talks to the Young Bucks every day. They promised they'd take care of the Blackpool Comet Club. I just said club in the ring. But when they left Don Callis in a pool of his own blood, him having a deep cut and concussed, that was too much. He gets it. He's not the most likable guy. He's still family, and when you mess with someone's family, you get what you deserve. Blackpool Comet Club are going to get something much worse than it being blood for blood. Blackpool Comet Club's then Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley took on the Elites, Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa. I predicted here that Claudio and Jon Moxley would win, and they did. This matchup lasted longer than I thought it would, though. But Blackpool Comet Club wins by referee stoppage, most likely. Jon Moxley then gets on the mic asking where the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, and Don Callis are. Before answering, they're all at the hospital. Babies with glass jaws, and that Blackpool puts the Elite in All Elite Wrestling. Kenny Omega comes back. A smile plays out as he stands on the stage. The Young Bucks are back too. Super kick party in the ring. Omega joins them and they beat Moxley down. Kenny slides a toolbox into the ring. Lines Mox up, but the Bucks wave him off and hand him a screwdriver. John spits in Matt Jackson's face and asks for Kenny to bring it. Claudio pulls him out of the ring before he can get stabbed by a screwdriver. Then the Embassy are interviewed backstage. Prince Nana then said they're not actually angry, but they're very happy. Because Darby Allin's success in a testimony to Swerve teaching him, and he's still got some scores to settle, and they're gonna leave with something. Then finally we saw Riho and Sky Blue take on the Outcasts, Ruby Soho and Toni Storm. This matchup was okay. I predicted here the Outcasts would win, I think, and they did. The Outcasts spray an L on Riho and hit a triple powerbomb on her. Jamie Hayter tries to make a save, but gets overwhelmed. The injured back of Dr. Britt Baker DMD makes the save for real and gets in a brawl with Saraya. Short kick to the ribs off the ropes. The other Outcasts save Saraya before she can hit the stomp. Then finally, in our main event, Chris Jericho goes up against Keith Lee. And in this matchup, I think I predicted Keith Lee would win, although Jericho won. Thanks to Keith Lee getting hit by a foreign object by a masked man when Daniel Garcia distracted Aubrey Edwards. The masked man was to be Swerve Strickland, which it's hard to know if Swerve Strickland is joining up with the JAS or if Swerve Strickland just was cracking Keith Lee in the head because they're rivals. It's hard to know. It could be both, honestly. But we'll have to wait and see. Jericho then won with a lateral press. Garcia helps Jericho to his feet after. Then Adam Cole shows up He checks on Keith Lee, offers a fist bump. They turn their backs, and a similar thing as to what happened after Adam Cole's matchup happens, where Adam Cole looks back at Chris Jericho and then leaves. Jericho did that exact same thing after Adam Cole beat Daniel Garcia. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen here. But that's it. This is TPW Talking Pro Wrestling. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Good night, everybody.